Amazon only ukuleles. Keep watching. Yes, it's GotAUkulele review day. This is the summary video review. As always, the full details are in the link below, where you'll get a lot more information. Yeah, Amazon only reviews. You may have seen my video recently that explained about the caution that I advise when you're buying online and the difference between buying from specialist shops and Amazon, particularly from Amazon when you're getting a ukulele straight from the factory. This is one of those, so we'll see how it goes. It's actually a brand I featured before. Back in 2017, I featured their DUC-3 model. This is the Donna DUC-1 mahogany soprano ukulele. That one back in 2017, I didn't wholly dislike it. It had one or two niggles to it, though, that bumped the score down a bit, but it wasn't wholly terrible. This is the DUC-1, which ostensibly would suggest it's a lower grade model than the 3. The 3 had a spruce top with lots of decoration on the fingerboard, that kind of thing. This is extremely plain. It's an extremely plain laminate mahogany concert, and it's a brand that does one of those things that A, doesn't really go to any great lengths to tell you that it's laminate, in fact probably infers that it's not laminate, which is naughty, but also calls it AAA grade mahogany. No, it's not AAA grade mahogany, it's just straight up laminate mahogany, and I don't like that either. So that's what it is. 2 pieces on the top, 2 pieces on the side, 2 pieces on the back. That's nicely book matched though, isn't it? But it's laminate mahogany, and it's put together in a standard double bout concert shape uke. Very generic looking, very simple, very plain, unlike the DUC-3. But there we are, it is what it is. The bridge, slot style, a bit overly large I would have thought, but very tidily done. They claim it's rosewood, but I suspect it's probably stained hardwood. As I say, slot style for easy string changes. That bridge is a compensated bone. Sorry, that saddle is a compensated bone saddle. There's no other decoration on it, meaning it is ultra plain, other than that sound hole rosette, which is a wooden inlay, and to be fair, it's done pretty nicely. There we are. Body is finished in all open pore satin, and actually that's been done nicely too. I can't find any flaws with it. It feels very nice on the hands. No rough edges, no gaps, no scratches, no gouges, no problems. You also get a couple of strap buttons. There's a picture of the ukulele inside on the written review below. It's actually really tidy. Notched linings, delicate bracing, really thin top too. Things are looking up here. This is all right, albeit very plain. The neck, they claim, is AAA grade mahogany too, which is an utter nonsense. It's in 3 pieces. The joints are fairly well hidden, one at the heel, one at the headstock, and it's got quite a nice flattened profile. It's also a roomy 36mm at the nut and just over 29 G2A strings as well. Maybe these Chinese factories are starting to get it, because that should bode for a comfortable neck. Topped with, again, what they say is rosewood. It's in good condition actually. Some nice end shaping there down to the sound hole, nice and dark. And you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 to the body, very standard. 15, 16, 17, 18 nickel silver frets. The edges are bound black to hide the ends. But sadly, first gripe, the fret ends are sharp. Even though they bound it, they've got sharp fret ends, and that's a problem. Position dots face out at 5, 7, 10 and 12. Thankfully you get those on the side. Beyond the bone nut, headstock, a departure enough away from a 3-pointed crown to be a bit different. Quite like that. And the Donna, sorry about the light, that Donna logo is inlaid in pearl. Like the DUC-3, they use these unbranded chrome gears with amber buttons with clear covers to show the gear mechanism. I like those just because they're a bit cool, but thankfully they work all right too. They come with their own brand of clear fluorocarbon. I don't know what they are. They look like Aquila, but they're not. But actually I quite like them, to be honest. Don't have much of a problem with the strings. And you get the usual sort of dizzying array of extras. You get a half decent, pretty decent padded gig bag. You get a spare set of strings. You get a strap. And you get a clip-on tuner. see my review of the recent tuner that I reviewed, because I tend to find that these included tuners are pretty awful, actually. I wouldn't use that. But there we are. So you get the extras. Pricing. You'd think the DUC-1 should be cheaper than the DUC-3, but the last time I looked it was more expensive, and it's because it's one of those Amazon brands. They use dynamic pricing. The pricing goes up and down. At the time I got hold of this recently, it was £50, just under $70 in the USA, but I looked the other day, it was a little bit more. I looked this morning, it's not in stock, so it's forever changing, so keep an eye on it. But let's say it's about 50 quid, which is not a bad price at all. And you know what? I think you may have noticed as I go through it, I've not really found much wrong with it. I haven't found anything wrong with it. It's a bit plain looking. The fret ends are sharp, but everything else is all right. It's really nicely built, actually, and it's not heavy. It's balanced at the 12th, although it has got that odd balance thing where it falls backwards this way, but that's not a major problem when you're playing it. It's put together all right. This could be a surprise. Have a play. As always, strobe tuner, tune up. I don't play them out of tune like people claim, but let's just make sure it's bang in tune with a strobe. And I think you've probably heard, it's quite a nice tone, hasn't it? The volume is very good, very good. No problems with the volume. It's got a punch. The sustain, a bit less so. It falls off quite quickly. But what I like about it is look, I don't want to get ahead of myself here. It sounds like a laminate instrument. It's a 50 quid instrument. But often with these 50 quid laminate instruments, they can sound sort of extremely thin, very lifeless, dull, echoey. There's a touch of echoiness going on here. But actually, it's got quite a nice rounded tone. In fact, it's actually mellower than I'd like it to be. I don't really dislike that. Because of that low sustain, it's got a nice sort of bouncy, almost soprano staccato sound to it that I quite like. But all those notes are really clear in the mix. It's not getting too muddy, which is surprising for a $50 instrument. You know what? I think you thought I was going to trash this, didn't you? I'm not going to trash it. It gets a pretty decent score as well. Apart from those fret ends, there's not a lot wrong here. I quite like the tone. I quite like the sound. The volume is good. It's well built. It plays accurately. It costs 50 quid. That's hard for me to knock. Now, I will say that my warning about buying from Amazon still applies. I can only review the one that's in front of me. That's not to say that you wouldn't buy one and find there are problems, because I see an awful lot of problems from instruments that come direct from China. Maybe I just got a good one, but so what? I got a good one. I'd happily recommend this. I think this is a decent beginner's ukulele. Yeah, it's plain looking, but it's not ugly. And it does all the things it's supposed to do very well for 50 quid. Recommended. Back next week. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. I've got loads coming. See you very soon. Bye-bye.